The day began like any other, but for Officer Ramel, June 28, 2024, would take a dramatic turn. While patrolling a routine route, his sharp eyes caught sight of a woman, Mary Roy, known to have an active arrest warrant. Her criminal history. He informed her of the active warrant, but instead of complying, Roy's response was instant and aggressive. With her body language full of hostility, she made a move toward him, forcing Ramel to act quickly. His reflexes kicked in as he avoided a strike aimed at his face. His defensive tactics were spot on. Roy, but she wasn't backing down. Despite the efforts of two trained officers, Roy resisted every move, forcing a physical struggle that escalated into an all-out battle on the busy street. Heightening the tension, Officer Ramel found himself facing a series of challenges: cuts, bruises, a torn uniform, and even the disrespect of being spat on by the suspect. Yet, through it all, violent confrontation. No one suffered serious harm. After what seemed like an eternity, Roy was finally subdued and transported to Brown County Jail, facing multiple charges, including resisting arrest, obstructing government operations, and assaulting a police officer. 2 years earlier, on August 22nd, 2021, Greenfield, Wisconsin, witnessed a high-stakes chase that would put every officer's skills to the test. Officer Jameson had been on routine patrol when he spotted a red light runner, Tyron Lamb. He signaled Lamb to pull over. But instead of complying, Lamb made a dangerous decision to flee. What began as a routine traffic stop spiraled out of control as Lamb ignored multiple orders to stop. Officer Jameson quickly called for backup, but Lamb didn't stop. The streets of Greenfield turned into a racetrack as Lamb swerved through traffic, putting pedestrians and drivers in harm's way. With each maneuver, the situation grew more dangerous. Driving continued. The pursuit reached speeds of over 90 miles per hour, and Lamb showed no intention of slowing down. Finally, a collision occurred. Lamb's car slammed into another vehicle, triggering his airbags and impairing his ability came to a halt. But his refusal to cooperate was a direct threat to the safety of everyone around him. Officers surrounded the vehicle, demanding he raise his hands. But instead of surrendering, Lamb opened fire through the windshield, striking one of the officers. The call of shots fired echoed to a police radio, and the scene escalated into a deadly firefight. As Lamb attempted to flee, the officers didn't hesitate. They returned fire, neutralizing Lamb just meters away. The officer who'd been shot was rushed to safety, and after a long, intense battle, he made a miraculous recovery. Innocent lives, and a constant reminder of the extreme dangers law enforcement faces every day. The pursuit of Michael Nightingale was one that would test the limits of any officer's ability to remain calm under pressure. On April 5, 2020, Officer Akin was on routine patrol when a black BMW suddenly sped past him. Officer Akin activated his emergency lights and initiated the chase. The suspect didn't slow down. Instead, to an even more dangerous 150 miles per hour, weaving in and out of traffic like a man possessed. Officer Akin knew this wasn't just about the chase anymore. It was a matter of public safety. in a way that minimized the risk to other drivers. His goal was to catch the suspect without causing more harm to the public. Yet, finally, after multiple failed attempts to force the BMW to stop, a pit maneuver succeeded. But the suspect, a seasoned criminal named Michael Nightingale, wasn't ready to give up. He jumped out of his car and fled on foot, making his way through the rough terrain. Officer Kin wasn't far behind and quickly apprehended Nightingale, whose extensive criminal record included drug offenses. Nightingale's behavior only worsened when he remained silent at first, but later admitted that he was a fugitive. Wanted for evading arrest. This high-speed chase ended in a dangerous confrontation, but in the end, the public was safer and justice was served. Just over a year later, on May 31st, 2025, in the town of DeWitt, a dangerous encounter unfolded. Officers received a report about a reckless driver in a red Kia nearly causing a head-on collision on Old 27. The call was urgent, and the officers acted swiftly, speeding toward the location to intercept the suspect. The pursuit took an unpredictable turn when the suspect, identified as Pedro West, what should have been a simple traffic stop turned into a life-threatening situation. Officers had to think fast as they raced to avoid a potential high-speed collision with oncoming traffic. As the suspect neared a major interchange, officers prepared to execute a pit maneuver. But Pedro West, ever defiant, suddenly slammed on his brakes and swerved toward the patrol car. A dangerous move that forced officers to react quickly. The crash that followed sent both vehicles off the road and onto the shoulder. Despite his reckless behavior, West didn't immediately surrender. He continued to evade, trying to escape. But after a tense moment, he finally yielded, rolling down his window and throwing the keys out, signaling his defeat. After his surrender, West was arrested, facing charges that included reckless driving and fleeing from law enforcement. Fueled by alcohol and possibly other substances, demonstrated the extreme risks officers face when dealing with suspects who have no regard for the safety of others. The streets of Gumman had seen their share of trouble, but on September 19th, 2023, an altercation involving a group of young offenders would test the city's law enforcement. A patrol unit was dispatched when a group of juveniles was reported causing disturbances in a busy area. As officers arrived, they spotted a primary suspect, a reckless driver, attempting to flee the scene. His escape route was blocked at every turn by coordinated tactics, but the suspects weren't going down without a fight. Their vehicle was cornered and police surrounded them, but one suspect, a young man named Shengmu, refused to surrender. The confrontation became a standoff, with officers shouting commands and maneuvering in place. Eventually, the suspect barricaded himself in a vehicle, only to be apprehended by the tactical precision of Detective Maya and her team. The group of offenders was taken into custody, but the damage was done. Public property was destroyed, and the fear of rising juvenile delinquency became a real concern. On February 26, 2025, at Newport Beach, an unexpected altercation broke out between two groups. The situation, initially appearing to be a minor conflict, quickly escalated when one woman, Ashley Anderson, became combative with another, leading to a physical confrontation. Witnesses were confused as to what sparked the fight, with one claiming she was protecting her younger sister, while the victim insisted that no provocation had occurred. Officers arrived on the scene to find a chaotic situation, with both parties pointing fingers and refusing to cooperate. The situation reached a boiling point when Ashley tried to leave, dismissing the officer's attempt to speak with her. With her defiance growing, law enforcement had no choice but to restrain her. The brief chase across the crowded beach ended when Ashley was handcuffed and transported to the station. Though the charge seemed trivial compared to the other encounters, the public debate about using force in less severe incidents raged on. Was this truly a situation requiring restraint, or was a better approach possible? Every day, officers put their lives on the line. They respond to danger, face aggressive suspects, and endure high-speed chases, all in the name of protecting the public. These incidents highlight the dedication of law enforcement, but also the unpredictable nature of the job. Whether on a dangerous highway, dealing with a violent suspect, or responding to a simple call for help, the consequences of these encounters can change the lives of everyone involved. Stay ahead of the game. Subscribe and hit the bell so you never miss a moment of action. The next storm of speed is just around the corner. See you in the next video.